Life is complex, so is our mental health. It cannot be understood by diagnosis alone. Our philosophy is treat the person, not the mental illness.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Humanizing Mental Health. This is Jeremy Alcorn. Unfortunately, my co-host at present still remains to be sick and unable to attend today. Today we're following up on the last episode that we had just aired, in which my colleague Annie Anderson joins us. And the title here is super curious. We really want to kind of hone in on one area of practice that Annie is a part of. And it just struck me. It's like people tap out and they decide, you know what, I'm done. I quit. And so Annie has this specific treatment methodology that uses tapping and thinking, hey, are you going to tap out or are you going to tap in?
I love that title. I love it. Thanks for having me here to be able to talk about this.
Mm-hmm. And there's a bit of a theme that is, in other episodes I've said that I've done this methodology, that methodology. I've actually experienced this with Annie, and so I can speak to the some potency that it brings. But I'm really interested in really doing that initial introduction. What are we even talking about?
We're talking about emotional freedom technique. It's often referred to as EFT, just to shorten it, but it's also referred to as tapping because that's what we literally do. We tap on different parts of the body while we have a conversation. It's based in traditional Chinese medicine where you have acupuncture and you have these energy highways called meridians in your body, and an acupuncturist will put a needle along those meridians to either bring energy there or to release trapped energy. So instead, we will tap on those points, which is why it's often referred to as emotional acupuncture without the needles.
Mm-hmm. And having been to a couple of acupuncturists, I do have some familiarity with what you're talking about. And there's actually a whole range of things that are treated using those meridian lines.
Yes.
Physical conditions, emotional wellness.
Stress, anxiety,
mm-hmm.
physical pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's amazing the different things that tapping has done for some of my clients.
Mm-hmm. Obviously not speaking about any client in particular, but what sorts of conditions do people bring?
Well, interestingly, somebody might think a mosquito has really a negligible effect in their life, right? They're small, they're easily squished. If you go camping though, and you've had a nice night by the fire, you've got some smoke in your eyes, maybe a little bit, maybe you've had a beverage, you get caught up into your sleeping bag, you're all tucked in, and then all of a sudden, there's that noise, and you know that it's a mosquito. You have to try and find your flashlight, wear your glasses, try and find this mosquito in your tent so that you can dispatch it, so that you can have a restful sleep. You might think, how can something that small have such an impact? But if you can't find it, or you're more invested in just snuggling down into your bed, you know that you're going to wake up in the morning with mosquito bites all over your face, and that's going to be irritating and uncomfortable for several days. So a mosquito, while very small, can have a big impact, especially if you have photos the next day and now you've got these big mosquito bites everywhere. It'll change things for you. Mm-hmm. It'll also change things for you if you're walking down the train tracks and there's a freight train coming. That can also derail you from what's happening in your life. So whether it's something small, like a mosquito irritation, annoyance, pet peeve, or it's something massive, like the death of a loved one, or loss of a job, or, anything that's important to you that can really derail you from where you're headed in life, both of them can be tapped on.
Gotcha. Like the thing that came into my mind as you were talking about that is like, some things put us out of balance in a really big way. Other things put us out of balance in a small way, but being out of balance still is being out of balance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not calibrated to where you want to go, that 1 degree
mm-hmm.
can make a big difference with where you end up. You ask any ship captain that.
Sure.
They'll say 1 degree makes a big difference where you end up.
Constant small course corrections.
Yes.
Whether that's a plane, whether that's a ship, they constantly make small course corrections.
Yeah. So somebody might think, why am I going to tap on this minor irritation in my life? Why am I going to do that? Because it has a big effect. Specifically, I had one client come and she wanted to tap on how irritated she was when her husband would be thoughtful and lovely and do the dishes after a great supper, but there were chunks of vegetables left in the bottom of the sink. And when she saw them, it irritated her, and it was almost like a bull seeing red. She got very angry. It felt very disrespectful to her. So do you think that would affect her relationship and her marriage?
Yeah, I imagine, because if she came and said something about the little bits in the sink after you did all of this stuff, you'd be like, okay,
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to do anything then if it's going to be little bits of stuff that matter more than the big things that I've done.
Exactly. So we tapped on it, and in the end, she was able to laugh at it. And now if it happens, it's no big deal. She can just put it down the carburetor. She can put it in the sink. She can find gratitude and appreciation for exactly that. The fact that her husband did all the work cleaning up after supper for her. It made a big difference in their relationship.
Sure. So one of the things that I noticed, and that is, I really asked kind of a rather kind of, I guess, Western medicine question that is about what are the conditions? And your answer was actually more what this whole podcast is about, and that is, you treat the person, not the condition. So you're like, actually, we're looking for states of imbalance. Now that may have come out in a description like lupus.
Right.
It might have come out in a description that is depression. But you're not actually trying to treat the depression. You're not trying to treat the lupus. You're trying to re-establish a sense of balance, and then the body will take care of the rest.
That is an excellent point. We chase the fire, not the smoke.
Mm-hmm. You mean
in helping people?
Yeah,
Like,
in Western medicine, you're saying.
no, in
Or
Western medicine,
we treat
the smoke.
Okay.
We suppress the symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything's fine because you're not feeling the discomfort or
Yeah,
the
in
dis-ease.
fact, I would say that we go after the coals, because the coals are the thing that maintain the fire.
Yes.
You can throw a bunch of water on a fire, and if you got enough coals, it's not
It's not
done.
going to matter.
It's not done. It
No.
will come back.
It's like taking a Tylenol for a brain tumor.
Mm-hmm.
You can take the Tylenol and not have the headache,
Sure.
but you still
Only
have the
treating
problem.
symptom. Yeah. So that's very curious. So for you then, there may be a range of what our common listener that are entrenched into the Western medicine idea of health.
Yeah.
That they do have lupus, or maybe they have cancer, or maybe they have a number of conditions. The process here would be come in and let's see if we can get you balanced, so your body can do what it then needs to do for the things that it can't fight right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think of when your car, if your tires are out of balance, you're going to have a different wear pattern on your tire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to cause a problem. Your tire's going to pop.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can rebalance it, you get the full length of the life of the tire.
Sure. And from that metaphor, it's like we keep changing out tires rather than doing a wheel alignment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which actually, changing out tires is important, just not, you got to do the wheel alignment as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. That what I mean by that is not to say that we want to disregard Western medicine and say,
gosh, no.
don't see your doctor, don't do those things.
Nope, not
It's
at
just
all.
recognizing that there's only so far that discipline can take us. That discipline can either give us medication, that discipline can do surgery.
Yep.
There's very few other interventions outside of that it can do. And so if we're looking for other paths of healing that isn't medication or, surgical procedure alone, then we have to incorporate other healing strategies.
Absolutely. In my 20 years as a paramedic, I have seen miracles happen with Western medicine, hands down. It has saved my life on multiple occasions, literally saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that there are other things out there that can be also as life-saving.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to treat what's causing the problem. Emergency medicine is great for dealing with what the raging fire is in front of you right now. And we also need to look at what got that fire started to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So a good example would be if you're having a heart attack, you need to have that surgery to go and get the the blood vessels cleaned out if you can, and deal with what's happening with that heart attack. But what caused that heart attack to start with? Was your blood pressure high? Well, why was your blood pressure high? Well, was your diet bad? Did you have all sorts of plaque building up in your arteries? Okay, why are you eating the foods that are causing that? What emotional
Sure. So it's not just like change your behavior.
No.
We're not just saying, hey, you've been eating badly. It's your fault that you have a heart condition. Actually, the behavior on the outside, and this is with everything in life, represents something on the inside.
Yes.
And so the behavior is not the problem. And we're not going to find solutions likely by saying simply change your behavior. If we can modulate that from the inside out,
yes,
then we'll see us making different types of choices
and
our
lasting
behavior
change,
modulating with it. Yeah, and then our health relates to that as well.
Everything clicks into place.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of the things that makes me very curious then, and that is, we got a group of listeners out there, and they have friends, and this network of connection, which is what helps people to be healthy. And what I'm wondering is, these people that are listening, what would you say to them today that would help prepare them for coming into an appointment to see you?
Well, I offer the opportunity to either work with the client in that moment, or I give them homework. Now, you can do pre-appointment work as well. And what I would say is just get curious about where you find the pinch points in your life. The big ones, the freight trains, as well as the mosquitoes. Where are you irritated? Where do you have a frustration or a pet peeve? Even something as simple as, say, printer ink. You go to Staples and you buy some printer ink, and you come home and it's wrapped in that really thick plastic that's almost melted around the edges, and you need a chainsaw to get into it. And as you're cutting that plastic, the hard plastic is cutting at your skin on your wrist as you're trying to get the scissors in to cut that printer ink out. Right there, that irritation is something that should go on the list, something that should get tapped on, because in that irritation, there's an emotional charge, and we want to neutralize those emotional charges. And the small ones can lead to really big ones. You can go down some rabbit holes, if you will, and they can take you to places that you never even expected. And by neutralizing one, you neutralize others.
So this notion about an inventory of recognizing when things are kind of getting under your skin.
Yes. Or like in the movie Men in Black, where they have that little button that they press and makes a big flash and takes away their memory and erases their memory. What are some of the things in your life that have happened, either you have done and you'd like a mulligan for, or someone else has done that you've been a byproduct, traumatized
Casualty.
by it. Yeah. What are some of those events in your life that you wish that you could erase? Not that you can change the past. The past is what it is.
Sure.
But if you can neutralize the painful emotion and quit spending energy dollars on those old events, you then free up those energy dollars to spend on something else in your life that you do want.
Sure. Yeah. The way I've often said this is the trauma is not what happened to you. It's the changes that occurred inside you, which I think is what you're saying. And it's like we can't fix the past. That's impossible. What we can do, though, is we can fix the alterations that happen inside you,
yes,
so that you can relate again in a new and healthy way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. So the idea here is kind of two streams. One is like, if you're going to be coming in, it'd be a good idea for you to know what are those, as you say, mosquitoes, those things that are the little things that cause the irritations and so forth. And also an inventory on, do I recognize things that have happened in my life that were really big?
Yes.
And that maybe I just skated over them. Yeah. And hoped that they would just stay in the past.
And everything in between. It can be a simple thing as being asked a question by your teacher and having everybody in the classroom look at you and you feel stuck for an answer, and now you're embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And that sticks with you, and it makes it difficult for you to share in a group of large people at a corporate presentation because you have that same belief that everyone's going to laugh at you.
Right. Like when we do talk about trauma, trauma is not necessarily some big thing.
Yes.
Those are big T traumas, right? That are like, got into a car accident or there was some kind of abuse. It's just the small T traumas are things that people aren't paying attention to.
And they add up.
They've been poisoned by them over time. And so it's not that you have to find everything in your life that has ever happened.
No, gosh, no.
But being in a place in which you're just mindful and start to recognize some of those impacts.
Well, that's an interesting point you make. Having a big list like that could feel very overwhelming for people, and they start to think, oh, geez, man, my life is a mess. You don't have to have this list of hundreds and hundreds of things in order to think, oh, there's something wrong with me. I worked with one lady and we made a list of 15 things that had happened in her life that she wanted to neutralize. And we only tapped for 6 sessions. So there's no way that you could get to all 15 things in those 6 sessions. We actually only tapped on 4 of them. And when we rescored her stress levels, they went from 121 out of 150 to 23 out of 150. So how did all of those other items on the list reduce when we didn't even address them?
Yeah, it's like the lynch pin. I grab this, I pull this pin, tuk, 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 all these other things were connected to it.
Yes.
And now actually that just kind of took care of itself.
Exactly. That is one of the beautiful things about tapping.
You know, I can really join with you. I remember someone coming in. Of course, this modality is not one that I'm trained in, so I wasn't using this. But I just remember someone saying after about 5 appointments, it can't be this easy.
Yes.
And you go, well,
it can.
Sometimes it is. Yeah. Everybody's journey is different. And to assume that it's going to be really hard work, even for childhood sexual abuse, to make that assumption paves a road for the person that we're serving that expects them to walk that road.
Yes.
You're going to have to do, and you're going to have to put in all of this work to get there. Well, we don't actually know that.
Yep. That's a belief.
Sometimes it's like opening a door and walking through it. And sometimes it's like climbing a ladder. We don't know which way it's going to be like for you, but it doesn't have to be.
No.
And if it is a long period, then we'll be there with you all the way through that too.
And that's okay. There is no wrong way to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there other thoughts that you'd like to share about tapping and about kind of the process or
well,
the
it looks
experience?
ridiculous. I'll say that right out of the hopper. It looks like a monkey chasing bananas. I'll be sitting there tapping and I will model the tapping and we will have a conversation and I will tap the same time you do. You'll offer up the ingredients of the recipe, so to speak, and then I'll make the spaghetti sauce out of it. We'll work together and it looks weird. I'll tap the top of my head, you'll tap the top of your head. I'll tap under my arms, you'll tap under your arms. Meanwhile, we're making conversation and accessing a part of your brain that isn't logical. It's almost like trying to explain how to smell the number 9. That doesn't make any sense. And it works. Your brain is very clever and it's very easy to just let go and let your brain go into those states and have the words just fall out of your mouth and things change. It's beautiful.
You know, it's interesting what you just described. I've often said to people, you're trying to figure out stuff with your cognition. It's just that your guts make more serotonin than your brain, and your heart sends more signal to your brain than your brain sends to your heart. So what if those neurons, that the initial entry into your system was actually in your guts or your heart, not your brain? And we're trying to line up that body part that connects to the lizard part of your brain and the cognitive part that connects to the new part of your brain. We're trying to get them to actually connect back together. And it sounds like that's what you're describing, the same thing. It comes from the body and the cognition figures it out as you're going.
Well, and it's not a very cognitive process. If I were to ask you, what is 6 times 12? Your brain would immediately go into trying to do the math to figure it out. And I would
actually,
say
mine went blank. Oh. I was like, oh no, I'm in math class again. Man, why'd you have to bring up this small T trauma?
Or even if I said, what did you have for breakfast?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thinking is much different than what we want to try and tap into. So if I say instead, pick a number between 1 and 10, boom, the number comes out. Pick a color. The color comes out. It's that sort of tapping in to your brain that we want to do. So it's not a very onerous process. It just comes out and it happens. And when those releases happen in that energy, the physical shifts happen. There'll be times people are sitting there talking to me, and the next thing you know, they are yawning like they're Rip Van Winkle and they need a 100-year nap. It doesn't make any sense. They're like, I don't get this. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I had a full night's sleep. Why am I yawning? Your body is physically changing.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
releases that are happening. Why am I laughing hysterically? This doesn't make sense. That's just what's happening when the energy shifts.
Something has shifted.
Yes.
It released something. And maybe what's going on in this moment then was actually related to something that got this stuck in the first place.
Yep.
Not what's happening right now.
Totally not related in your ability to connect the dots, but your body's connected those dots.
Yeah, for sure. Which means that it is no longer going to be dissociative. It's been resolved and that can now be put away.
Well, and you're a smart guy. Most people are smart people. And if they could think their way out of this, they would have by now.
Yeah. I had a doctor that I'd seen that had come in and was talking about things, and later when he came back, he said, I stopped telling people that this is a head problem.
Yes.
He said, you're right, because in my situation, if I could have figured this out with my head, I already would have, I wouldn't be here.
Yep.
So, yeah.
One of the things I love about it, though, is that the physical response in people is palpable. Losing that stress and feeling your shoulders melt and relax and be able to breathe. Watching that happen, like in live, real time for me, is so rewarding. It is amazing.
And it's funny you say this because in my own practice, which once again the modality is not the same, but I know what you're talking about. I'll notice a shift.
Yep.
And I'll get them to connect through that body process. And then as something changes, I'll point it out. I see that your shoulders drop. Tell me about what you're feeling now in your shoulders. And what was that associated with?
Yeah.
So that we can truly link up the cognition now.
Yeah.
So they can truly understand and their body can communicate properly with, with itself. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to pull all the way back to the title again.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a statement that I believe to be true.
Okay.
And that is, if you feel like tapping out, you don't have to. Because if you come and see Annie, she'll help you to tap in.
Absolutely. The beautiful thing is I will teach you how to tap in when you're not even there with me to empower you.
So on that note, I'd like to say thank you everyone for listening today. This is Jeremy Alcorn signing out. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that this message has been as meaningful to you as it has been to us. If you're looking for help, you can find us on Facebook at Humanizing Mental Health.